So firstly, what is a visionary leader? So to me, a visionary leader has three key dimensions. They're innovative, so they can see the future. And I think in boardrooms, that's absolutely critical. A boardroom should be able to see this is the future of the industry or the future or the convergence coming because of some of these mega trends. And then from there, define the opportunities and implications to the business. That's number key. And the second one is they have to be diagnostic. So what can that mean to their business? And then third and most important is, especially for CXOs, can they lead that transformation and change management? So me, those are the three key qualities of being a visionary leader. So are you innovative? Can you identify those opportunities? Can you do diagnostics? And can you lead the transformation? Great leaders don't set out to be leaders, they set out to make a difference. It's never about the role, it's always about the goal. I also think very important for leaders to set the bar high. Actually, when I work with boards, I always tell them, set the bar so high in some ways that even if your team doesn't achieve it, forgive them, but make sure it makes a difference. I also think leadership is all about positivity. It's about a half glass full. I've been in a few board meetings where there are some board members, and especially if you know the board well, it's okay. But sometimes you bring in certain members of your executive team to come and make a presentation to the board or something, and if you are as a board member very negative, it's half glass empty. That message goes around everywhere. So again, always suggest as board members to look at that positivity thing. But I tell you, in my organization, what we have is what we call target and commit. So commitment is the baseline target, is the baseline objective. So we're going to grow 10%. And there is a high percentage, let's say 2/3 of your comp plan targeted towards, sort of aligned to it. And then you have what we call is a target, which is typically ambitious and is a 10-15% more than that. And the 1/3 of the compensation is sort of linked to it. So that's how we do it. So it's a target and commit. So commit is minimum expectation. You don't hit it, you don't get your comps. But if you exceed it and you hit target, then you get an extra bonus. So that's what I would recommend. I once invited by the Institute of Directors to come and talk about trends and how trends lead to corporate governance. And somebody asked me, and I'll ask you this question, should we have AI in the board? So how many of you think we should have AI in the board? Should one of the board members be AI, an artificial intelligence machine? Okay. And I normally say no, because AI does not have ethics. And that's why humans are important. But you said it yourself, the AI needs to give you that information. And I think that can be an input into a board meeting and having some sort of AI machine providing that. But I think at the end of the day, and as we have seen with ESG, and the ESG definition has also, we have just hired in our 2 different boards, we not only hired an ESG expert, but also somebody who's into inclusion, diversity, and all of the other things that come with it. So I normally say, bring in AI into the boardroom to help your decision making, but the humans need to make ethical decisions. I love this one, and this is absolutely critical, and I use it a lot with my team, but also very important in boards. You can have interesting debates, you can have diverse views, but I think it's important to agree, to disagree, and commit. And actually, this is a very interesting blog from Jeff Bezos. You can read it on LinkedIn. So he talks about this example that, of course, Amazon set up and Jeff Bezos set up Prime. And then in one of the board meetings, his team wanted to actually set up media production. And he was heavily against it. But everybody in the board said, no, this is important. We need to do backward integration. We need to produce our own content. And he said, okay, I agree to disagree, but I will commit myself and I will support the decision that you make. And he did support it. And then a few years later, he said this same team won something like 8 or 9 Oscars. Yeah. So agree to disagree, but commit. Yeah. So that's important. So I used to work with Volvo, and they had a process that they would, whenever they were selecting, developing a new product or putting a new technology in, it had to do with a 3 process criteria they would use. Can they be best in class? Can it be leadership? Or can they be a fast follower? And they would tick the boxes. So, and then based on their brand attributes and stuff, they would decide which one they want to be best in class. So they were always best in class in safety. But then comes this gentleman, he says, it's not about being best in class, it's about how to disrupt, right? And then again, disruption in his ways is not just about creating a disruptive product. It's about also creating a lot of things in that product. So for example, it was not just a car, it has software over the air updates, right? It has lower turning radius, and so on and so forth. So it's that disruption that goes beyond just the product. It's about the technology, but it's also about the service model and the business model. So I think that's really important in this day and age to think more beyond box here.